And more virus fallout. State lawmakers are suspending the legislative session for 2 weeks. They'll wrap up what they can tomorrow and then dismiss until it's safer for large groups to gather at those traditional hearings. Our political specialist, Sean Boyd, with the very latest from the Capitol. Sean, you were in a meeting today of the Joint Budget Committee. They're very worried now about our state's economy.
Jim, an economy that was already starting to slow before COVID-19. Now budget writers are worried about a more serious downturn. A stillness settled over the state capitol. As lawmakers went home, their bills in limbo, the session suspended. But while the House and Senate take a break.
It may be very prudent, Senator Rankin, given what we're facing.
The Joint Budget Committee will be on overtime. They were nearly finished writing the budget when the health scare blew up.
We had built this budget on a certain expectation of a certain amount of revenue. That entire situation is up in the air now.
Senator Dominic Moreno, vice chair of the committee, says they receive a new revenue forecast Monday.
The news isn't good, to be honest.
Not only will they have less money, he says, but will have to divert money for things like unemployment insurance.
That fund wasn't solvent in its current form, and so as people continue to draw upon it, we're going to have to figure out some measures to shore up that fund and make sure that if we do encounter a recession over the long term, that those critical programs are still there.
State resources, he says, will also be needed to supplement federal funding for things like food assistance programs. Implementation of new programs, he says, is on hold, including and maybe especially those dealing with health care. The legislature had been considering a public insurance option that would have reduced hospital payments.
I think there are a number of policy changes that are needed in the healthcare space to save consumers money, but this is a complicating factor in all that and something that the legislature should remain sensitive to.
Unlike the federal government, the state must balance its budget. So if more money is needed for things like assistance programs, that will mean less money for things like education. The School Finance Act has yet to be introduced. Live at the Capitol, Sean Boyd covering Colorado First.